We are now in the final month of competition here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series 2023 season, and we head to our final short track of the season, and definitely the most anticipated one of them all. This is the Martinsville Speedway and the 15th race of the season. Only 4 races remain until we crown a champion 25 days from tonight. This is the Old Dominion 250 here at the Paperclip, and it's going to be a good one here in the 2023 Turkey Hill Truck Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Martinsville Speedway here in Ridgeway, Virginia. We are excited for this one here tonight on this Friday night. 63 laps of action around this half-mile short track in South Central Virginia, and last year this race gave us the closest finish of the year. I don't know if we're going to see that tonight, but we always see a great race here around this modified night version of Martinsville, which was actually made in the game before Martinsville itself actually had permanent lights. But it's a great track, and this is our favorite short track of the season here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And Matt, I know you've been looking forward to this one a lot. The downside is your driver, or one of your drivers, Blaine Keys, who has won the last 2 races, starts 19th. What does he need to do to make it 3 in a row here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series after winning Iowa and Chicago on the past 2 Friday nights?
Well, he's definitely going to have his work cut out for him tonight, obviously starting a little bit deeper in the field than you would want to at a place like Martinsville, but we'll see. He's shown the ability this year to work his way up front at multiple short tracks, multiple track types, so not going to count us out of it just yet, but it's definitely going to be a hard road for Blaine to get to the front tonight.
And of course, another driver who has been in this championship fight pretty much this entire season is Bruno Diacomo, starting on the pole here. The Martinsville Speedway got the win at Richmond earlier on in the season, and then Michigan as well, but really hasn't contended too much for the wins, but he's been consistent, and he only sits 13 points behind Ludovic Charette. Ludovic starts 6th here tonight as well. The outside lane may not be the best place to start here for this one, but I would imagine our top 2 drivers in points might contend for a race victory here tonight, considering how difficult it is to work your way through the field. But you mentioned Blaine Keys. He's actually worked his way through the field the past 2 races, so would not be surprised to see him do the same. A lot of speed out of that one truck. Watch out for him. And hey, who knows? Caleb Rose and Roberto Crown Jr. are sitting there in the second row looking to steal a victory here at the Paperclip. I'm excited for this race because, like I said, last year this had the closest finish of the year. Eric Drew got his 1 win last year ahead of Laura Chung, under 1/100th of a second, I do believe. And not 1/100th, 1/10th of a second. It was close. It was the closest finish of the season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, and close for a short track, but we'll see if we get something like that here tonight, especially considering the competition we have seen here in the Truck Series coming into this race. Of course, we will have a cycle of pit stops, about a 45-lap fuel run here at the Martinsville Speedway for this Old Dominion 250, and if this race stays green, which is unlikely, I think we're going to see some spins and some cautions here tonight. Things get very interesting with that. Of course, tire wear not very significant here either, oddly enough, on this version of the racetrack. Only about a 0.4 of a second fall off once you get to an end of a run. Here are the points officially coming into this race. Ludovic Charette's got 13 ahead of Bruno Diacomo there. Those 2 drivers have been battling it out up top pretty much the entire season, but watch out for Joe Rutkowski there, sitting 32 points behind. Give Rutkowski a chance at Homestead, and he could pull off another Turkey Hill Truck Series championship. Nicholas Sambidio, another driver to watch out for, only 40 points behind. Not the best of runs last week at Chicagoland for him. And then 49 points behind there is Thomas Troxel. Andrew Williams, Blaine Keys, 54 and 56 respectively, still with a good chance. And same with Williamson and Nathan Stapleton, 61 and 63 points behind coming into this race. Nathan Stapleton starts outside pole. If he wins here tonight, he could put himself within a race win worth of points heading into Las Vegas next week. And if that's the case, Talladega is the penultimate race of the season. He could have a very good chance at Homestead if he is within 15 or so points. I feel like any of these guys are going to have a good opportunity if they have a race win worth of points going into Talladega, just given the nature of that racetrack. Bruno Diacomo starting on the pole position here tonight in Martinsville alongside Nathan Stapleton. Then it's Caleb Rose and the 0-1 there of Roberto Crown Jr. Noah Clifton, who won at Bristol earlier this season, to the inside of Ludovic Charette. You got Nathan Ormond and Logan Williams in row number 4. And then Andrew Miller to the inside of Philip Torres in row number 5. There's Joe Rutkowski starting in the 12th position alongside Avery Alford. We go further through the field. Andrew Williams starting 16th. Not the best place to start right there. And then you got Blaine Keys, Nicholas Sambadio deep in the field, midway through the field in the 10th row. Watch out for those drivers. And Thomas Troxel has not qualified too well in a lot of these races so far this season. But, you know, we'll have to see what he can do. Not really a good short track program for that 93 team, at least in comparison to what Troxel had in the Cup Series. Thomas won this race here in the Cup Series back in April. He's got a lot of work to do, though, from that starting position. We'll see what he can, in fact, pull off. We'll go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from the Martinsville Speedway. And, Matt, you got a driver up there starting 5th. Do you think he's going to pull off the race victory, or will it be somebody else getting it done here in the Old Dominion 250?
It's going to be an interesting race tonight. I don't particularly want to jinx somebody, so I'm somebody that drives for me, that is. So I think I'll jinx Mr. Max Verstappen there in the 33 truck. I mean, Caleb Rose, sorry. The Broke Boys Garage driver in the Red Bull 33, and I think he picked up a win tonight, finally.
And he finished well in this race last year. I think he got a podium finish after having a miserable season in the trucks in 2022. This is a good track for Caleb. We'll see what he can do from the 3rd starting position. But it's Bruno Diacomo and Nathan Stapleton on the front row. Here we go. It's Short Track Friday Night Racing here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And Nathan Stapleton was like, see ya later, there at the start from the outside, and he was clear of Diacomo well before they even entered turn 1, and he's going to take the race lead away right there. Diacomo in 2nd, Caleb Rose, Noah Clifton, Nathan Ormond, the top 5. Andrew Miller moving up in the 41, and like I mentioned, that outside lane, not necessarily the best place to be. Stapleton knew that, took advantage of the jump on the start, and grabbed the race lead, while everybody else in that outside lane is continuing to fall back. But how about that 61 and that massive jump at the start for the Triad Racing driver?
Yeah, we saw this. We saw his teammate Josh Williamson back at IRP have a very strong truck, and we're seeing Stapleton jumping out rapidly here early on in the go into this race. Someone who's not going anywhere quickly is Ludovic Charette, who started on the outside and is just plummeting like a rock quickly in the early opening stages of this race. We've got another Aaron Abel into 05 gets to the bottom of him. And with Diacomo running up front, this could be, and Rutkowski chasing him down not too far behind, this could be a potential disastrous situation for Charette brewing here.
Yeah, he's still stuck in an outside lane there, and he's got to be careful. These guys kind of dive bombing him here. I look at Philip Torres. I mean, he took a massive shot to the inside there, and Charette really had to go wide in the corner. There's Blaine Keys, winner of the past 2 races, still around the 20th position. Nicholas Sambadio in the 23 did not get a good jump, and he's one of our championship contenders, falling back in this race all the way down around the 30th position right now, so tough to see that for him. Been a couple of tough races for that team as of late. Diacomo falling back. He's now into the 5th position. And Diacomo's in a great position to possibly take the points lead at the end of the night, considering where Ludovic Charette is in that 14 machine. But Diacomo's got to be careful not to slip back himself, and there's a lot of drivers up front in this race who have not gone the victory lane this season. Of course, Noah Clifton has gone the victory lane looking for his 2nd win of the season, but Nathan Ormond, Caleb Rose, Nathan Stapleton, they've all yet to go to victory lane. Same with Andrew Miller, Avery Alford up here. And they know they got a good opportunity here tonight, and they are going to give it their all against that 82 machine of Bruno Diacomo. And this 82 has not been as quick as of late. He started off the season very well, and he's been relatively consistent. But realistically, he's not contended for many of these wins since he got the race victory in Michigan. And once again, falling back here a little bit. But how about Noah Clifton, your driver right there, running in the 2nd position, looking for his 2nd win of the season. Got around Ormond, got around Caleb Rose, and he's going to try to hunt down Nathan Stapleton there for the race lead.
It's been an up and down year for Clifton. Definitely can be a little more down at times than up, but you know, again, we've seen the strongest suit of this team so far this season been the short tracks for both drivers. Blaine's been stronger all around, but Clifton's stronger at the short tracks is a little argy-bargy. Nathan Orman's having a fantastic run. Really, the whole second half of this season, he's had a lot better races put together, which is good. Oh my goodness!
Woo! Oh, they're getting tight right there. Orman wants that position back from Clifton. He's going to get it here. They're going to put Clifton in the wall, and maybe rightfully so there. And then again, Orman was kind of sliding up there. I mean, the thing about this track, I mean, they dive bomb it in like crazy. As you can very well tell, they sometimes overshoot that corner, but we tend to have pretty long green flag runs here. We'll get an occasional spin or two, but I love the racing that we get here in Martinsville. And Andrew Miller's loving it. He's up to the 4th position now, to the inside of Caleb Rose. Two guys in the booth for us last week for the Thanksgiving 500. Not as good friends right now on the racetrack, I guess. Avery Alford, Logan Williams, Diacomo falling back to 8th, and it's Aaron Abel, Roberto Crown Jr. Ladovic trying to rebound. Hey, I keep on telling you all, watch out for this guy. Joe Rakowski coming into this race 32 points behind. He's ahead of Ladovic right now, as the 14 machine is 1 position behind him, down in the 14th position. Oh, and he's got to be careful here because he's going a little wide into the corner, and I'm thinking we just had ourselves a caution, and we did. Sebastian Kukulon in the 27 going around, and our first yellow flag of the night here in the Old Dominion 250. And it's going to be an opportunity for our leaders to come down the pit lane. Look at the damage on the 61 and Nathan Stablen. I would imagine this might be an extended pit stop for that 61, considering the damage he has. If I do the math correctly... If I do the math correctly here, oh boy, we're really close on the window right here to be able to make it to the end of the race. This could get very interesting if this thing stays green.
Well, this should be a very interesting way to see how this all pans out. Noah Clifton's going to lose a lot of time. I think Nathan Orman's going to end up in the lead here. Unless the 24 team has a bad pit stop.
He's got to be careful with Ladovic Charette right ahead of him there on the pit lane. Ladovic's got some damage there. I think he lost some ground trying to avoid whatever happened. And they're not going to repair the damage on that 61, so Stapleton will win the race off. So the Nathan and Nathan show up front here. And, you know, I think you're glad to see that. Clifton holding on to 3rd with Andrew Miller and Avery Alford. You know, a lot of different faces up front in this race. I mean, Clifton did get that win at Bristol. However, that is his only top 5 of the season, so we really haven't seen much of him up front. Orman's had a decent season here and there. Stablen has run up front on a lot of these races, but has yet to go to victory lane. And then Miller and Alford have been nowhere to be found all season, so bit of an equalizing race here tonight. How about Joe Rutkowski right behind Bruno Diacomo now, trying to close in all he can on these guys. And you know what? All he's got to do is chip away in these last 4 races, and that's what he's been doing as of late. Very consistent there for Millennium Motorsports. And as I was saying just before that caution happened, watch out for him in this title race. Okay, let's see what happens to Sebastian. Bring up the first caution of the night here in the Old Dominion 250. Then get back to racing here at the Martinsville Speedway. Well, Sebastian Kukulon right here. We've seen this a little bit tonight. This overshooting the exit at turn number 4. And 2 trucks to the inside of him right there with Williamson and Bartow. Just nowhere for the 27 to go, and he gets spun around by the 72 machine. And Bartow also has nowhere to go either. But thankfully, a simple spin right here. And no one else got caught up in this accident. And everyone's going to be on the lead lap once we get back to racing, which is good as well. Let's go ahead and replay it in real time to get back to racing here in the Old Dominion 250.
Yep. Well, you're going to watch this 27, and he's going to go whee, bang. That is a tough way for the day to go for the driver, the 27 here, and Stapleton was so close there, but luckily got away from that, and we'll be back racing here soon from the looks of it.
And that 61 will be the race leader when we get to the restart here in the Old Dominion 250. Let's see what he does with about 45 laps to go here at the Paperclip. We're back here at the Martinsville Speedway, Old Dominion 250 action on a cold December night. The 1st of December, already in the last month of the year, last month of the season, only 4 races to go until we crown a champion on Christmas Day. And who's to say who our championship contenders will be heading into that finale race? This race going to play a huge factor into that. Nathan Stapleton wants to be a part of that. Comes into this race 63 points behind. A race victory will get him a little closer. He restarts first ahead of Nathan Orman, Noah Clifton, Andrew Miller, and Avery Alford. Let's go ahead and see how it all goes down. Everybody's still on the lead lap, by the way, including Sebastian Kukulon. So no lap cars, and everyone came down right around the fuel window there. So it's going to get interesting. Look at Clifton and Miller and Alford. They're all overshooting the corner. And Clifton almost got taken out by Andrew Miller. They're 3 wide into the corner. And somehow, some way, they're going to keep it together. But that was surely a moment of all time right there. And Andrew Miller up to 3rd as Clifton holds on the 4th.
Well, you got to give Noah Clifton some
and
credit
Avery
for,
Alford.
oh, no.
Oh, this is going to be tight. He's going to slow these guys down, but he will be able to make it to pit lane. And that is such a tough break for Avery Alford, who was having one of the best runs of the season, and he's going to blow an engine. An engine in Martinsville. You don't usually see that. A couple guys down the pit lane from further back in the field. I'm not sure. It's Mike Knapp there and Eric Monaco, Eric Drew, last year's winner of this race down the pit lane. Stapleton managing to hold on to the race lead ahead of Nathan Orman, but this 24 is right behind this 61 here. And then Andrew Miller a little wide, and Clifton's going to get the revenge.
You gotta, I was about to say earlier before Avery Alford, I'm assuming might have detonated a gearbox, maybe more so than an engine, but we'll find out. But Noah Clifton, you gotta give him some credit tonight for not wrecking the truck more than he already has, given that he's been in some very precarious situations so far in this race, and is somehow riding P3. But oh my goodness!
And Ormond gonna take the race lead as Stapleton overshot the corner, and that's the 3rd time that Orman has almost taken somebody out, but I gotta give him a lot of credit for not actually doing it tonight. And how about this for Angel Gutierrez's team? They didn't have a good run at Chicagoland last week. They've been trying, and they have shown flashes of brilliance this season, mainly the Charlotte race back in October. Nathan Orman out front, trying to get only his 2nd career win as a driver on the channel here, ahead of Nathan Stapleton. This would be a huge win for that team if they can pull it off. But Stapleton, definitely an experienced veteran here, is going to definitely pressure this 24 into making a mistake. But that's another thing Orman has done here tonight. He has not overshot that outside wall. You see no damage on that right side.
Now, Orman's kept the right side of that truck fairly clean, which is more than everybody who he's raced tonight can say, I guess. But I mean, he's got the truck out front now, but we know Nathan Stapleton, we know he loves to sling that big black Ram machine around, and he's going to throw it down to the inside, take his shot back at the lead, and look at this is going to be a very interesting battle, and it's going to open the door. Take a peek in 4th place. Bruno Diacomo, championship contender, has fought his way back up into some clean, not clean air, but a better track position than he was in, but got Logan Williams right on him, and this is there's lots of still for a very short race. There is a lot left in this race to play for everybody. The championship contenders, drivers not in the championship. There's a lot that's going to unfold over these next 30-something laps.
Absolutely, and really this lead battle. I mean, they continue the battle right there. Orman back to the inside on Stapleton, and I really think Orman has the advantage just because he hasn't overshot that wall. But my big question is, if we remain green, will we see some of these guys peek down the pit lane near the end of this race? Like I said, about a 45-lap fuel run. They might be able to make it. Stapleton's going to lose some more ground there. That might seal it for a little while. And the 24 machine trying to hold on to this race lead. And I think he might have enough of a gap to do it. You got Noah Clifton still comfortably in 3rd, and then it's Andrew Miller, Logan Williams, and Diacomo's lost a couple of positions right there. I'm intrigued to see if Rutkowski finds a way around him, because that 36 is really the only other championship competitor in the top 5 in points. Well, actually, I say that. How about Troxel moving up top 15 as the cautions back out here at Martinsville, and Igor Barreto, thankfully, he teleported. before our leaders got around. Oh, they got to be careful here. Oh, and Orman just got taken out a little bit there by Stapleton, and then Stapleton, I think, got caught on the curb. And Giacomo got caught up there. We saw this in the Cup race back in April. They kind of jammed it up there a little bit. 61 of Nathan Stapleton got stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it looks like he might be out of the race. He's out of contention for the race win at least. They're coming down the pit lane here for another cycle. You know, Nathan Orman got out of that as good as he possibly could have. My goodness.
Well, there's going to be some unhappy crew chiefs and drivers on pit road after that. Micah Knapp decided not to get back going, and Stapleton paid a heavy price there. He's out of his box, so we'll see how... Or unless he just teleported to the garage.
He may be out of the race now. They may have not allowed him to come back on.
Oh, he's there. He's there. He's right. I just saw him go by.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. So a couple of guys actually stayed out, I do believe. Logan Williams in the 39 and Andrew Miller. Stapleton is now officially... Well, he should officially be a lap down because...
He should be.
They're scoring him 16th. We'll see what it says right here. He should have lost a lap because of that. And... and he didn't. That's interesting right there. He got teleported and essentially... Now, we're going to let this slide because of the nature of what happened. Essentially, these leaders shouldn't have to jam on the brakes the way they do. That is very, very interesting right there out of Nathan Stapleton in the 61. John Andrews is actually the race leader now as he stayed out. So did Logan Williams and Andrew Miller. And in the middle of all that, I think Andrews may have surpassed all those guys. We got a lot to review. That's all I got to say. The good thing is we should be good to go on fuel for these guys as they topped off right there. Fitzwater's a lap down. Clifton now down to the 7th. Ladovic's up to 8th. Bruno Diacomo, that's the big one right there because he did get a pretty heavy hit and all of that. And he's going to fall to the end of the field because he's got a lot of damage on that 82 machine, and that is going to impact him significantly. So we knew this race was going to be wild, and we're not done yet, guys. It's going to be a lot more to come, and I feel like that may not be the last caution. But let's go ahead and try to figure out what happened to bring out the second caution of the night here in the Old Dominion 250 at Martinsville. So this is going to be a lot to digest right here. It starts at the exit of Turn 4, as it usually does. Eric Monaco overshooting. And Blaine Keys, this is the wrong place for him. Just side swipes him enough to spin that 28 out of the groove. Fitzwater right into him. Sam Adio misses it. Casey Anico misses it. Igor Bretto does not miss it. And a full rotation, a barrel roll across the line at Martinsville. And that right there is... Oh, and that's where Eric, or should I say Ethan Lewis, that's going to take the 11 out. That's a hard hit. That is why everyone jammed up. And that jam up, definitely the cause for a few issues here. Nathan Ormond is going to win the race to the line. And Micah Knapp, Sebastian Kukulon, Trey Bartow at the back of the field, who had slowed down because Monaco was still on the racetrack. Ormond and Stapleton just come in way too hot. That 24 gets spun around. And then Stapleton just drives it onto the curb, gets the truck stuck in the grass. He teleports over. Got a bit of a tap right there. Nothing too crazy until you get to this jam up here. Aaron Abel gets spun around off the front bumper of Bruno Diacomo. And then Rutkowski already had damage. Everybody else generally all right after that one. Troxel might have gotten a piece of that one too. And, it's very, very interesting because John Andrews ends up taking the race lead here. I think he just didn't pit. He was like, I might as well try to take the race lead away. It was a bit of a jam up here, and he just decided not to come down the pit lane. So he's your new race leader. Both Andrew Miller and Logan Williams did, in fact, come down the pit lane right there. And then Stapleton just follow with them. They let him right out here. And you know what? He's already got his fuel because he was down the pit lane. He got a free ticket to pit lane, essentially. However, in the grand scheme of it all, he's roughly in the same position he was in because he was second before the caution came out. He's going to restart fourth because of a technicality. So Stapleton's going to not really gain anything from it when you think about it. And these three guys, of course, Andrew stayed out. Williams and Miller end up jumping the field. And Stapleton's going to be fourth. I'll let Matt explain all that here, and then we'll get to the racing once again here in the Old Dominion 250.
Well, watch the 28 truck here, Eric Monaco. And he's going to go up here, and if I had the soundboard available for the Rick Allen clip, I would, because take a look at what he did right there, flying down the front straightaway at Martinsville, because that's exactly how you expect the race at Martinsville to go, is a guy go flying halfway down the front straightaway. And then Nathan Orman forgot that he had a brake pedal. But then Nathan Stapleton said, I can one-up you, and I'm going to use the curb as my brake pedal, and everybody just piled on in there. Ludovic Charette, little nifty move there, was able to sneak by a few trucks and not get too jammed up. But and then Stapleton, they're going to let him go, so he essentially gets a FIA undercut here because they just let him go and didn't. They were like, here you go. Have some free track position saves. So one of the craziest sequences I think you're ever going to see here at the Martinsville Raceway, and it's going to benefit Logan Williams big time here. He did not come into the pits in the top three. He's going to leave the pits in the top three. This is going to be a fun restart for the 39.
This is what happened. Miller and Williams just topped off. Orman had to change tires because remember, he spun around there and a little bit slow on the pit lane, lost his lead, and John Andrews stayed out. Who knows what's going to happen here on the restart? It could get a little while, and we may not be done with the cautions. We'll have to see. Let's get back to racing here in the Old Dominion 250 at Martinsville. We're back here at the Martinsville Speedway, Old Dominion 250 action. What a load of action we just had right there, and that last caution completely shook the field up. John Andrews, your race leader. Second place is Logan Williams and Andrew Miller. Nathan Stapleton got stuck on the curb, teleported to the pit lane. They sent him out right around the time that those guys were coming off the pit lane. Aaron Abel is fifth and then Orman in sixth. Not a good start there on the restart for Nathan Orman, but he's rebounding right there. John Andrews has a clean racetrack ahead of him, but he might have to come down and pit at some point before the end of this race, or maybe not. We'll have to see. Williams getting around Micah Knapp in the 9, who was the major player of that accident. Aaron Abel on Stapleton for position right there. And then Ludovic Charette almost getting into Nathan Orman right there. That 14 got a huge break there, so he's going to get ahead of Diacomo as that 82 restarted in the back of the field. Joe Rutkowski, another guy who also did not get a good exchange out of all that. He has fallen back. He's in 17th. But still in a good position to possibly gain some more ground. And Diacomo back on the pit lane. Derek Hamill as well on the pit lane. One guy who has rebounded is Nicholas Samadillo, who is right behind Noah Clifton in 12th, considering where Samadillo was. Pretty solid position for him to be in. Meanwhile, back up front, John Andrews holds on to the race lead, but Logan Williams is all over his back bumper. Williams trying to get his second win of the season. He got it at Dover about a month ago. Miller trying for his first, same with John Andrews. Andrews has had a miserable season in that 49 machine. As a matter of fact, yeah, he's 22nd. It's his teammate Sam Anowski who's had the tough season, but Andrews trying all he can. But I feel like this 39 might take the race lead here shortly. A lot to go over. You got it figured out, Matt?
Well, I mean, the past couple of weeks in the booth, I mean, obviously it was Blaine Keys the past 2 weeks, but it feels like if it's not a Team Velocity-Star or Grattan Autosport driver, it's been one of the Williams brothers doing something, as we see Logan Williams go to the lead, and as Diacomo seems stuck on his pit cycle, This is big for Ludovic Charette, future Grattan Autosport legend. Oh, I waited so many weeks to finally say that again, but he's moving his way back up through the field, and this is going to be very crucial for him in the championship. Orman settling down in 7th. Still a great run for him. And Josh Williamson in the Triad truck, the teammate Nathan Stapleton. They just have their short track program figured out really well this year. They've had a great run of races on these short tracks back, IRP and a couple other rounds. But Stapleton, this is where it's going to get very interesting. Logan Williams pit, so he's good to go. So he can just try and send this thing as hard as he can. The other two behind him, John Andrews, Andrew Miller, we'll see what they have in store. And you never know, maybe catch a lap truck at the right time. The right thing happens at the right place, right time. We saw Logan Williams last week at Chicagoland. But you know, anything can happen in this truck series. But Logan Williams is he's starting. Oh, that was a big old hit.
Yeah, last year's winner, Eric Drew. That was a tough shot there for the 3 machines. He got lapped. That's good news for Logan Williams, though. A clean racetrack ahead of him, so he's just got to be careful to keep his truck clean at this point. Top 3 get away from Eric Drew, and you got Nathan Stapleton here, running 4th with Aaron Abel. Ludovic, and that's the first time Orman's done that all night. He smashed that outside wall. Now, that whole exchange for Orman was very unfortunate because he would have been the race leader, and then you had all that strategy play out, and he ended up falling back on the pit lane because of it. And now he's losing more ground as he took a really bad shot to the wall. That affects your momentum for an entire lap right there. And Williamson, Philip Torres get around him right there. Roberto Crown Jr. in the top 10. How about Sam Adeo? How about Blaine Keys in 12th right there? I don't think it's going to be a hat trick for Blaine Keys, but still a solid run. The only thing for Sam Adeo and Keys is that Ludovic is still in this race and ahead of them in 6th. And Ludovic's going to pull away a little bit further going into Las Vegas next week, the way it's currently running right now. We'll just have to see how it all ends up shaking out. We could end up with another caution in this race, but we only have 14 laps to go, and Logan Williams is pulling away, looking for his 2nd win of the season. We'll have to see if he can do it for Echo Evans-Ross and the Evans-Ross Racing Team.
This has been a very solid late race surgence by Logan Williams in that 39 truck. Just got out in front after battling Andrews and Miller and has not looked back. Has just left these two in the dust, really, and these two, John Andrews, Andrew Miller, neither of them is having a particularly great year, anything to write home about. Andrew Miller, 25th in points. John Andrews 22nd, so neither of them's done it. Neither of them's had anything, that like really stand out this year. So if, both of these two can finish this run out on the tank of fuel, get top 5s, maybe both end up on the podium. They both are in great contention to do that. This would be a very big highlight for both of these two drivers, even if they can't come up without the grandfather clock for winning tonight. Still getting on that podium is a huge momentum shift for guys.
I would like to mention Bruno Diacomo there in the 82, 8 laps down currently. That's tough because he's going to lose all that momentum he gained from Ludovic's issues. And Ludovic's actually having a solid race in 6th right there. He managed to avoid all the calamity that ensued, and if things stay the way they are, Ludovic is going to have an excellent opportunity heading into Las Vegas next week to really pull away before we head to Talladega. And if he has a good enough lead going into Talladega, he might be able to seal it there in Alabama. We'll have to see if he can pull that off. Meanwhile, Logan Williams still pulling away from this 39, and we're down to now 8 laps to go as he crosses the line right here. It feels like this race has had more than 2 cautions, but we've only had 2 yellows here tonight in this Old Dominion 250. Now, that second one really took us for a spin, that's for sure. John Andrews there, still in 2nd, but he's not really gaining any time on Logan Williams, who has been very smooth here tonight. Once he took that race lead, Miller going to lose some momentum right here, and Nathan Stapleton's going to have a chance to make a move going into 1.
A 61 truck, you gotta wonder how if that sequence didn't play out, he didn't end up on the curb. I think he would have. I think the Logan Williams could definitely still be battling for the lead, but this 61 truck really was fast tonight, and a bit of unfortunate luck there, but still is going to come home with a much better result than I think initially either of us would have thought he would be in contention for after seeing his truck get teleported to pit road. And they sent him back out there as quick as they possibly could. And, well, he's out here in the top 4. He's going for a podium. And, you know, as they say, sometimes it's not about winning the race, but can you still salvage something out of
I don't know. Gotta be careful not to continue doing that. Meanwhile, Logan Williams has to be careful around Trey Barta right here. 4 laps to go. We're at the point of no return, so if we were to get a caution, that would end the race. So Logan has to be very careful here with the 18 of Trey Barta, or otherwise, you know... Oh, John Anderson, he ran out of fuel. Not enough in the tank for the 49. That's unfortunate because he was starting to close in on Logan there. And staying out just didn't work out for him. So now it's Andrew Miller in second, but I think he also stayed out as well because he gained... Actually, he might not have. Because I think he was up front during that whole thing, and he stayed on the racetrack as well. It's 2 laps to go for Logan Williams, who just sent Fitzwater into the outside wall. Miller is 2.3 seconds behind the 39. And only unless Logan Williams comes down right here, which he's not. Neither is Andrew Miller. Pretty sure that this 39 might have this one in the bag. White flag in the air here in the Old Dominion 250 for Logan Williams. And once again, I mentioned this at Dover. He is a win or bust driver. Either he goes out and has an incredible performance or he doesn't finish well at all. And well, this is one of those nights he has an incredible performance. Second win of the season for Echo Evans Ross as an owner. And the second win for Logan Williams. He gets it done here in the Old Dominion 250. It's actually Echo's third win as an owner. I forgot about Chocola's win at Texas. My apologies there. Andrew Miller finishes second. Stapleton finishes third. Aaron Abel in fourth. Ludovic Charette top 5. That's a huge one right there for the 14. And you got Williamson, Torres, Nathan Orman. Nicholas San Medio's going to... He's going to lose about 3 points on Ludovic, but he's still going to be tight right there. And you know what? I think he'll go to second in the standings. Stapleton will also move up. And you got Blaine Keys there, who I think just outside the top 10 there in 11th. Boy, what a crazy race that was. That was all over the place. But only 2 cautions. And Logan Williams pulls off his second win of the season with Andrew Miller 4 seconds behind. Then Stapleton, Aaron Abel, and Ludovic Charette rounding out the top 5. What are your thoughts on that one?
There was a lot that went on in that race tonight. Obviously, Logan Williams. Somehow the Williams brothers, every time I'm in the booth, end up doing something. And he ended up scoring the victory here tonight. Nathan Stapleton from the curb to pit road, rebounding to a 3rd place. Got to give your hats off to him and the Triad team. Ludovic Charette, a great run to get back into the top 5 after what was not looking like a good day early. San Medeo worked his way through the field. Nathan Orman, I know that team obviously is not... Sometimes they're not on the same page, but they had a really, really strong showing tonight and a lot that I think they should be able to take and be happy from. And then my 2 boys in 11th and 12th. If we can't get a win tonight, unfortunately, but a top 12 and both the trucks running right with each other at the end is always a positive sign to see. But there was a lot that went on here tonight.
Quite a lot. And we haven't reviewed it at the time of us recording the end of this, so we don't know quite what happened in its entirety. But you guys have already seen that, and that's the result. Eric Monaco, Ethan Lewis, Igor Barreto, and Avery Alford. The caution, I think, was initially just for Igor Barreto, maybe Monaco and Lewis as well. I'm not 100% sure. Giacomo, though, that's the big one. Got caught up in that near the end and just got stuck on a pit lane cycle and finished 32nd. That's such a tough break for Bruno because he's going to fall back. He's going to be a good 50-some. He's going to be, he's going to be around 45 points off the race, or the points lead, I should say. Maybe a little bit closer, but still, he lost all that ground he made up the past few weeks on Charette. There's still 3 races left to go, and one of those races being Talladega, but the way it is right now, Ludovic really has his field on lock again, and now with only 3 races left, there's less opportunity for him to mess up, and less opportunity for everybody to take advantage of that with only 3 races to go. So It's looking good for Ludovic Charette, but it ain't over yet. And who knows what's going to happen these next 3 races. Las Vegas, Talladega, and Homestead. It's going to get pretty crazy, especially at Talladega. That's going to be a wild one. Who knows what's going to happen there. I just don't know. But I'm feeling good about that 14 team. Well, hey, Logan Williams is feeling good. He got the race victory here in Martinsville, the 2nd of the season after kind of up and down season he has had. But hey, you know what? Logan finds wins when you least expect it, and he got it here tonight in Martinsville, and we'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out for all these drivers, as we only got 3 races left to go. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Huge thanks to Matt Tuck for calling this race alongside me once again. You've been in the booth a lot for these races this season. You'll probably hear him at least a couple more times before the end of the year. And yeah, here are the points for the Turkey Hill Truck Series after 15 races. Only 3 races left to go, and Ludovic Charette looking pretty good there with a near full race win worth of points on the field. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, congratulations to Logan Williams, and I will see you guys later.